Today I wanted to talk about how much of an impact you can have as a therapist on your clients. When I left college, I honestly had no idea that a therapist was more than just a therapist. I just thought I was going to do nails, facials, I was going to make a few people feel good. I didn't understand the impact I could have on them emotionally, on their families, on their relationships with their husbands, their daughters, their sisters. I didn't realize any of this until I got into the industry and I started getting love letters from my clients. And I'm going to introduce you to a story that changed my whole life. So when I was 19, my first job was with Steiner. And for those of you who know Steiner, it's now called One Spa World. They are hard. It is not easy. It is intense. I did them for 10 years. And, so I obviously loved it, but it was hard work. And I was on what they call the money-making column. And the money-making column is either the facial column, which is the electrical facials, or it was the body column, which was called the anathermy, which is all about body electrics, losing weight. And I honestly it was hard at first because the budgets were huge. I had never worked in sales before, apart from working in a surf shop once upon a time, and then I worked in pubs for the rest of it. So for me, I had never had to have targets before. And I struggled for the first couple of months. I couldn't do it. I couldn't hit the targets, but I had a manager that was absolutely terrifying. Like, he scared the living shit out of me. And he used to say to me that if I didn't increase my retail sales, then I was going to get kicked off my column and start doing 14 hours of massage every day on Americans. And without being disrespectful, Rube, these Americans were not small. They were large people. And I was at that point a small white girl from Wales. So that terrified me even further because my body was going to break because I had never been taught how to massage properly or deep tissue. And these Americans wanted deep tissue. And I was like, I don't know how to do deep tissue. So it made me work hard. And I realized, though, for me as a person, I am not a natural salesperson. But what I am is I'm a natural people's person. And I didn't realize it at the time, but the course that I created during lockdown, which is the Skin Expert Consultation course, is a system that I started creating to be able to, one, fill my management needs of hitting my retail targets, but two, to be able to work on what I knew I was good at, which was to get to know people. And this is how I started making thousands in retail per week. And it was down to the fact I understood that caring was better than just selling. And what changed my life completely was I had a lady in, and she'd been on many, many cruises and had many, many facials. And, she had that kind of approach of what you're going to sell me today scenario. And I didn't sell her anything. I got her in, I sat her down where I was kind of sitting the way I'm sitting right now, very comfortable, because at the end of the day, my whole ethos was I'm going to just get to know my clients. I'm interested in them. They weren't my 9 o'clock or 10:15 or 11:30. Oh, it's lunchtime now. They were Donna, Sharon, Caroline, Cecilia, and I knew their lifestyles by the end of each treatment. And this particular lady called Barbara, she had come in and, like I said, been on many, many cruises and used to be sold to. And she basically turned around to me and said to me, "Don't bother, doll. I've been sold to 1,000,000 times," in her American accent. And I went, "I'm not here to sell to you, Barbara. I'm here to give you the best facial you've ever experienced." And she went, "Oh, let's see. You've got my interest piqued here." And I went, "Amazing." So I got to know Barbara, and Barbara told me about her son. And her son had a girlfriend or a fiance, and it had split the whole family apart because her son's fiance and her, they didn't get on. They didn't see eye to eye, all based on religion. And as she spoke through the whole facial, she didn't stop speaking. At the end of it, I said, "Barbara, can I give you a bit of advice from someone that sounds very much from my age?" And she went, "Go for it." It's like, "Look, You are a wonderful, you are a strong, independent character. And that is absolutely terrifying to someone my age. When I know for a fact that if I was her, I'd want your approval, because I'm guaranteeing your son absolutely idolizes you as a mum, because you're strong and you know your mind, and you've put that into him, and he's now probably found someone quite similar to who you are, because let's be honest, they say this, right? They always go for someone who's like their mum. And so she's probably just trying to find her way, and she's probably put up a shield because you're such a strong woman. She's probably scared that because she's not following your religion, that you are automatically not going to like her. And for that reason, she's probably put up a shield, and for that reason, you two haven't connected. So look, I don't know if that's the reason, but that could just be that she's actually just, all she wants is your approval, and all she's gotten is a family divide, which is probably making her feel even more awful. And she went, I've never thought of it that way. Obviously an American accent. She went, and she started getting teary. And I went, oh, Barbara, I was like, I don't mean to make you upset. She goes, no. She goes, I think you've just saved my family. And to this day, I still get those, whenever I talk about that story, I still get literal hair standing up, because she goes, not only was that the best facial, she goes, but that was the best therapy session I've ever had. And she's like, and I pay thousands for them. And she goes, and that you've not only given me good skin, but you've also basically fixed my family. And I was like, oh, there we go then. And I just took it all in my stride. I was 19 at the time. I was young, and that was then when I realized how impactful you can be as a therapist if you truly let yourself forget about what you should do and focus on what and who you should and who you are and what you are to each client. If you're going into a treatment room thinking, I've got a 9 a.m, I've got a 10:15, I've got 11:30, holy cow, yes, it's break time, then you shouldn't be in this industry, because that's not how you build a successful business or a successful column if you work in a spa. How you build success is through compassion and caring, and you get that through your education. Now, unfortunately, education in our industry right now, current state, 2023, is not great. And so it's difficult for therapists to be able to have that experience with their customers, because they're not taught to think this way. You're not taught to think this way. You're taught to, the consultation is basically a waiver to make sure that, one, there's no medical issue, so they can't sue you. You've got at the end of it, you've got the actual signature again, so they don't sue you. But the actual consultation, which is what I found out, is actually where you make or break your actual whole experience for your customer. It's where you build that relationship to gain the trust, to be able to get the knowledge that you need to be able to give them the most best phenomenal experience, whether it is facials or it is massage or it is a manicure. You then are able to educate on why it is that they're going through those concerns, whether it could be a broken down family or a broken down skin barrier. And then at the end, you can then go, right, you need to come back to me and see me every 3 weeks, because I'm basically a new counsellor, saving you thousands, or I'm going to help fix your barriers, because I know why they're broken, because I took the time to get to know you, my client, not my 9, not my 10:15, not my 11:30, Caroline, Barbara, Sydney, Jackie, whoever they are people with a story. And if you are good at what you do and you care about what you do and the education supports what you do, then you get success. And this is how you build success within our industry. So when it comes to education, you have to start building it on you, okay? Like I said, you don't get given any of this. It's not taught. I wasn't taught this. I've had to learn how to become a successful therapist through messing up a million times. So if you want more support and you are struggling to build connections, you're struggling to retain your customers, you're struggling to get retail out without having pushy sales comments, then come and have a chat with me. Come and join the podcast. Come and work with me on the courses that I offer, because everything that I've just talked about pretty much is divulged in those courses. It's either how to build a successful relationship with your customers or how to build an experience that completely outshines anyone else around you. So I just wanted to end this podcast to say that if you have been struggling, it's not your fault. I can tell you that for a fact. It's because the education has failed you, because all you've been taught is how to sell products and how to sell a treatment. They haven't taught you how to sell you. And that is what you have to do first and foremost. People buy into people they like, but they don't like you if you haven't been told that you are your biggest asset. So let me help you. Whether it's by the podcast and you sending me your questions, which if you have got questions for me, then please just pop yourself over to the YouTube channel, which is also brand sparkling new. All the videos of me talking and ranting about the skincare and the facial world. Put your questions on the video, and then in the next podcast, I will answer those questions to the best of my ability to help support you on your journey to success within the facial industry or the spa industry. So, like I said, it's not your problem, but what I would say is the next step for you, if you want to build your career and be good at what you do, is actually work on you and realize that you are your biggest asset, and that the education is all about supporting what you are. Not what the products are, not what the equipment are, not where you are, not where you work. It's all about you. People buy into you first. So I hope that's been another educational experience from my own experiences and how you can really, truly make a difference in someone's life. Thanks everyone for listening and watching. I'll see you in the next podcast.